say good evening to my general public. I know you listening. Tune in to leave you informed on how to get dividends. You politicking with Permiss. I say you politicking with Permiss. Authentic originators, others are counterfeit.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world. Welcome to another edition of Politic With Permiss, right here on WOLB 1010 AM. Of course, the home of the Larry Young Morning Show. Good afternoon to all on this rainy day out here. I am your pilot, Permiss, and for the next hour, we're going to have a very powerful conversation recapping the DMV Awards, the aftermath, the progression, all of that. We're going to go and swim right into it as the time should let me permit. Phone number 410-481-1010, 410-481-1010 outside the area, 877-704-1010, 877-704-1010. Of course, stream live, WOLBbaltimore.com, WOLBbaltimore.com. Let me introduce my co-host, one half of Politic With Permiss, Miss Singleton Newman. How you feeling?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Everything is good, a little rainy, but we're good. We're going to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to make it.
Absolutely. What do we have on the board today?
Well, we got to show some love to our favorite Street Smart magazine. You can find them at www.streetsmartmag.com. Look out for that industry exposure event coming soon. Shout out to Smash is on the cover for this month. And Ye and Fame. Shout out to Fame. He was a nominee for this weekend's DMV Awards. Unfortunately, he didn't take it home, but congrats to him anyhow. And we also have to show some love to motivated artists making records, MAM, Jay McGraw, I see you. Shout out to them for doing great things in the community as well.
Absolutely. Big shout out to the two gentlemen that make the visions in here, the creative thoughts become reality. Amplify Video and, of course, Mastermind Photography. Make sure y'all look them up both. jh3mm.com for Mastermind, of course, amplifiedvideo.com as well. Shout out to Fuquan Promotions. Highlight him, fuquanpromo.blogspot.com. And, of course, Honey Management. Also look up for her, honeymanagement.net, honeymanagement@gmail.com. And shout out to my man Profit Productions as well. Definitely making waves and making things happen. With that being said, we're just going to jump right into it. This past Saturday, March the 5th, marked the 5th annual DMV Awards, which for the first time took place in Crystal City, Virginia at the Hyatt Regency. From what an evening started out as a beautiful, remarkable evening. Everybody was in who and and like, oh my gosh, I'm in Hollywood, and artists came through, and I mean in drones. And I mean, if you ever been in Crystal City, you know that those streets are very narrow, and sometimes it's a maze. It's like Mario Brothers, but I mean, artists found their way there. An evening of triumph, remembering and paying homage to artists that throughout the year make noise in their region. There's 3 regions that are being recognized at the awards. Keep in mind, Washington, D.C., Virginia, and, of course, Maryland. Turned into a night of disarray, and a lot of people running for safety, etc. So this show, we want to take some time out, of course, obviously, to shed some light, shed some positivity on this event. How can we make it better? How can independent artists as a whole rise above negativity? Why are we so angry, etc.? So on the panel today, we're joined by the publicist of the DMV Awards. She is also no stranger to Politic With Permiss. First time having her in the studio. I'd like to welcome Miss Natasha Brown to Politic With Permiss. How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you so much for coming. Of course, you hear this gentleman alongside his counterpart, Angel Baby, Rap Attack 92Q, and of course, we definitely had to have him on here. He definitely shows love to a lot of your independent artists. AJ, what's going on, man?
Yeah, Chief, what's up with you,
I'm doing good. How you feeling, man?
Pleasure to be here, man. Pleasure.
Absolutely. Reporting live and direct from the moon, as always, recipient of the Living Legend Award.
Absolutely.
One of my dearest friends and really has a voice out here in the independent community. Mr. Sonny Brown joining us. What's going on, Sonny?
Hey, what's up, baby? How you feeling?
I'm doing well. All is well. I can't complain, man. Everybody as a whole, thank you so much for joining us on such a real powerful topic. I'm going to open up the panel. I'm going to swing this over to Natasha. First and foremost, I just want to tell you, despite everything, shout out to yourself and Dre All Day in the Paint. I know how hard you worked for this award show. I mean, the hours, everything, and I know it took a lot. So it's sort of like when you seen everything unraveling Saturday, it's like, oh my gosh, and the hurt and everything. But as a positive person as you are, I see you are really rebuilding it and really making this thing happen. For everybody who does not know about the DMV Awards, go into detail and explain about the DMV Awards. What does it magnitude and what does it highlight?
Sure. The DMV Music Awards was started 5 years ago by Brother Maniac, and he started the program basically to pay homage, to give recognition to underground and independent artists who other people just, don't necessarily pay attention to as much as, they should.
Right.
And so this was basically one of the only programs at the time that was doing so. And so every year, there's been a little bit of issues, some controversy around the awards, of course, as there is anything. But this year, what we really tried to do was bring in people from various different communities, from Baltimore, D.C., Northern Virginia. Dre All Day really took it on to get opinions of everyone, in the community. Really, what could we do to make the program better this year? How could we enhance it, make it more transparent? And so from the very beginning, I came on board of this year's program in December. I also was a publicist for last year's program.
Good.
And so from the very beginning, we were just reaching out to people from all over and asking them to be power players, submit ballots, give us suggestions. How should we do this? Be on the committee. And, we definitely didn't have as much support as we could have had by various people for various reasons. But there was a lot of support. Shout out to the IGBC, Honeycomb Set. There were a lot of the models in the area. People from the radio stations got behind us. And so there were so many people, more people involved in the program this year than there ever had been before. And so we were really amped. It was a new venue, very transparent, a longer nomination process. And so we were really amped going into the awards program on Saturday. And I remember waking up that morning and was like, oh my gosh, today's going to be an awesome day. I'm calling people's managers, their publicists. I'm like, get your client at the awards, make sure they're there. We had it, all ready to go.
Okay.
When the program started, and even before it started, there were massive crowds of people, and it just started to feel really weird. And I remember thinking, like, okay, we have to get a hold on, all of this.
Right.
Was it more than what you expected?
Was it more people?
More people, more everything.
It wasn't more people, but I think that things just didn't go as smoothly as we expected.
Okay.
And so, like, some of the lines were just a little bit longer. I remember having to go to the registration table several times and try to get, move people through and answer questions and, go to the red carpet and split the red carpet in half and say, okay, this is really like bottlenecking, so let's move some people to the other side. So some of the artists were getting a little bit irritated, and even some were a bit disrespectful, and that was very saddening early on in the program. Was it as organized as it could have been? Probably not. It could have been better. Everything can always use a little bit of improvement. But as the program started to move along, we started to sort of get a handle on things. But one of the things that I think that really went wrong is that people were so kind of disrespectful. No one, I won't say no one, but a lot of people weren't going in and sitting down. They were walking around. I remember socializing. I remember seeing a couple of people doing drops in the middle of the program, in the ballroom.
Wow.
So media was interviewing people while other people were getting their awards. So there was just a blatant level of disrespect in the room and disregard for other artists. And I'm sorry.
Do you attribute that to just people not knowing how it's professionally done, or just where do you attribute that to? Just
there were so many egos in the room. Honestly, there were so many egos in the room that night. And I remember I personally was by the stage most of the time and behind stage trying to get the program to move, and really coordinating with Eddie B, who was the host of the show.
Shout out to Eddie B.
Yeah, shout out to him.
He did a very
awesome
good job.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, so I was really working with him and a lot of the performers and presenters trying to get things moving. So I couldn't see everything that was happening in the ballroom, but I did see a lot, and people kept coming up to me and calling my phone and texting me like, yo, what's going on with this? And, how can we, what's going on? We have to get this together. So it started to spiral a little bit out of control as far as, just people being everywhere, people not sitting down. I remember people were saying, some people were standing on chairs, and it was just like they didn't know how to act in the Crystal City, Crystal City Hyatt. So that was very disheartening.
Let's talk about during the time where everything erupted. I know when I came downstairs, it was like a stampede of people running at me. So obviously, it was a lot of things going on, in the ballroom. What at that point, what was you feeling when you seen everything just out of control?
Honestly, from the moment I was behind stage trying to get the next set of awards ready.
And y'all remember you came up to me. Remember you said, Singleton, make sure you go to stage right and get ready to go on stage after intermission.
And it was right after that.
And I said to you, I need to find Permiss.
Yeah.
And I got up, and that's when it happened.
Yeah, and I went backstage, and a girl came out. She was a blogger, came out, and she was like, someone needs to call security. And I'm like, huh? And then I go in, and I think Dre was on stage calling for security, and I'm just standing. Honestly, from that point on through Saturday at 2 o'clock, I was a zombie. Wow. I mean, I was literally in shock. And I remember after everything went down, I was in my hotel room just thinking about everything, and I couldn't even speak. I mean, people were calling my phone, and I really couldn't speak, and it was just so shocking that it's because it was horrible.
Yeah.
It started downstairs in the ballroom, and then it went outside of the ballroom, and then it went upstairs. I mean, people were just coming up to me telling me different stories about how, I don't know. It was just really bad.
I know. I'm going to swing it over now to AJ, Rap Attack 92Q. Obviously, AJ, when you heard about the DMV Awards, what was it going through? And mainly these awards highlight and showcase independent artists. I don't think it was no commercial artists that was in the building.
Right.
So, and you have artists that come up to you all the time. AJ, yo, hook me up, give me some spins, give me everything. You being on national radio, what does that look like, or what message does that send to the hierarchy about the indie artists, and how did it make you feel about the DMV Awards when you heard about it?
The bad situation about it all is, first and foremost, is when we found out where the location was, being in Crystal City, Virginia. That's a big step within itself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna keep it all 100 with y'all.
Yes.
Based on the fact of where it was and the event of what it was, that was huge. And the sad part about it was, at the end of the day, when they said the fight broke out, it wasn't so-and-so's rap group, it wasn't so-and-so the artist, it was a fight at the DMV Awards. And that should be a reminder for all the artists that was there. They're not taking the blunt of what happened. It's the people who put the whole award show together.
Right.
So that right there should let the artists know that, look, come to an award show, have some conduct about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because this is hip-hop. You already got one strike against you on that. So for it to be that and how it all go down, that was a bad situation.
Right, absolutely. Sonny Brown, recipient of the Living Legend Award. You've been around the block for quite some time. You've actually attended many award shows in the past.
Right.
He's actually one of the first winners, actually.
So in seeing this, and I'm so mad because you wasn't able to, and I know you had a powerful speech when you in winning your award, but when you seen this, what was going through your mind? Because you've been in this scene for years.
Well, first off, I want to shout out Baltimore, because I'm so glad that my city wasn't involved in that. So I want to shout out all the artists that came from Baltimore City.
No doubt.
I salute y'all to the utmost, because we handled our business.
Yes, we did.
That's number one. Number two, what was I thinking? The first thing I was thinking is, where's my sister and my nephew?
Right.
Like, I think I was a little upset, because my sister, she's like my mother. You dig what I'm saying? So for my sister to ask me to come to the event, she wanted to come. That was like, that kind of smacked me in the face, because, my sister and I, we really don't be around each other as much. For her to say, Sonny, I want to come to the show to watch you accept this award. My sister, you got to understand something. My sister's husband, she's the guy, my sister's husband's the man that married Quicksilver and his wife. So she's very respected. You know what I'm saying? In that field, the pastor field or what have you. I don't know how to say it, but at the end of the day, she's very respected. For her to come there and to be in the middle of all that, especially with my nephew, he's trying to get his life together, For them to see that, I was hurt. That was pretty much what was going through my mind. But this has been something that's been going through my mind for like 3 or 4 months. Whenever you get a lot of people involved, especially a lot of egos in one spot, and it's that many people, You know, it was over 1,500 people in there.
That's
so when
right.
you have that many Eagles, I mean, there was 2 guys in there with jail uniforms walking around.
Mm-hmm.
When you have that kind of entity in one spot, and I'm not talking about them cats, but when you have like a whole bunch of Eagles in one building, something's bound to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I walked through, it was smooth. Shouts out to Brother Maniac, shouts out to Natasha, shouts out to Dre All Day. They put together a beautiful event. From the first hour and a half, it was beautiful. I'm not even going to front. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But it was a couple things that upset me. First off, the security guards look like those guys on the Tyler Perry movies. You know when a guy takes his shirt off and the chick starts screaming? They were like that. They were guys. Now, hear me out. I'm not trying to be
No
funny.
doubt.
I'm really trying not to curse. You dig what I'm saying?
I got
I'm a little upset right now because I'm going back to it. First and foremost, those guys was a little scary. It wasn't a lot of security in there. So that's kind of what was playing in my mind. I'm like, okay, if you got this many people in one building, you're supposed to have a lot of police. Or you should have some police, because I'm going to tell you something. I don't deal with anybody in no uniform. I don't care if it's an Army uniform or whatever. I just, that's just how I was raised. That's just the kind of life I live, and I'm trying to get better with that. But when you have somebody walking around in a uniform, you're going to show them the utmost respect. If there was at least 3 police officers walking around in that building, if the security was a little tighter than those pretty boys that was inside the building, I don't think none of that would have jumped off. I think that if it was a little bit more security, if some people, and just like, I can't remember, I think AJ, I think he said it. When people should know how to act in Crystal City. I don't think people even did their homework on Crystal City. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's a fed place. So why would you want to go around there acting up?
Wow.
And then
Go ahead.
to see the videos afterwards, like I didn't look at them, all of them, until maybe a few days later. And to see some of the videos and what people were saying, like people were bragging about how they stole bottles from the hotel. And
Yes.
it was just so ignorant. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so not cute. You know what I mean?
Really
And it was very alarming and sad.
It definitely was. Go ahead.
One thing I can say, this is Singleton adding to the comment, was that not only were people bragging about what had happened or bottles and that, they were still complaining, oh, I want my money back. I won't say any names, I've heard artists say that they were still mad because they didn't win the award and 5 people had just gotten hurt. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of selfish comments going on.
You're going to get
but
anyway.
you're right.
You're going to get that, and you're going to get people all upset and mad over the fact that they didn't get away. That's not even that's what really got me mad, is when I read some of those comments, because okay, there was people that got hurt, there was families in there, there were little kids in there. So why would you worry about some kind of award when who knows what could have happened to the little? I seen a little baby, a little 3-4-year-old walking around. What if something would have happened to him? I think, and once again, I don't mean to be on you, AJ, but he said another point. I think people need to sometimes kind of calm their egos down and go for what's right. I mean, the only way the DMV award, not the awards, but the DMV itself, the only way we're going to shine is if we stop this negativity and this dumbness.
I definitely agree. I'm going to go to line 1, DMV Award nominee Super Tim, who actually was on the red carpet with me as well and was down there, and he had some concern. I know me and him had a very long conversation. Super Tim, welcome to Politic With Permiss, brother.
What up?
Hey, Super Tim.
Definitely, man. What is your view on things, man?
Oh, man. My view on things, I mean, listening to this conversation, it's hurtful to hear so much negativity, not just about this event or this occurrence at this event, but it's one thing I've been trying to get out of my mind or keep out of my mind since I really became deeply involved in the DMV hip-hop scene is the negativity. I was just on my Facebook right just now talking to my man, 20 Bello. As much as me and 20 Bello talk, he always tell me about the negative stuff about the DMV, about the selfishness in the DMV, about the haterism in the DMV. And despite everything I hear when it comes to, like what 20's saying and what I'm hearing today, I always try to stay positive and be hopeful that one day it will stop. But listening to this conversation right now, it's hard to believe that it's people that I work at my job with, people, family, friends who know what I do, they don't ask me about what I do about DMV hip hop any other time, but Monday morning.
Yes.
Everybody
Sunday,
on you.
Sunday
Yeah,
morning.
everybody, yo, Tim, was you there? What happened? Okay, what you want to? I wasn't there when it happened. I just left when it happened, before it happened. But like, as long as you've known me and know what I do, you've never been interested about DMV hip hop.
Right.
Don't come to me now.
Right, absolutely, man. Super Tim, I want you to hang around for a minute. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the DMV Awards before and the aftermath. 410-481-1010, 410-481-1010. Outside of the area, 877-704-1010, 877-704-1010. Of course, stream live, WOLBbaltimore.com.
If I could just take a moment, I would like to take a moment just to recognize a few of the nominees and some of the winners of Saturday's DMV Awards. Unfortunately, due to the incident, a lot of people didn't get up to go on stage to accept their awards, and a lot of people didn't, unfortunately, perform. But I'd like to take the time out to recognize nominee Best Manager. That would be Frank Lewis with the O Management. Best Maryland Male Rap, Wordsmith and Barcardi were nominated. Best Maryland Female Rap Artist, the winner was Keys, and she was nominated along with Shy Lady Heron and C Notes. Shout out to them. And also I'd like to take the time out to recognize Grad Day for being nominated for Best Band Duo or Group, and also Best Live Show. And throughout the rest of the show, I'll be taking a moment to recognize other people that were nominated and have won.
Absolutely. Let me go to line two. Line two, Roxanne, welcome to Politic With Permiss. Roxanne?
Yes, hi. How you doing?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing real well. I'm listening to the event. When I first heard about it, I said, wow, I love to have been there. And I still say, wow, I love to have been there. But, you know, I'm listening to all the negativity, but let's get that positive. Let's turn it around and make it positive for our people.
Absolutely.
And that's what came to my mind. I was like, wow, I love to have been there. Right. And I also want to give a shout-out to Frank Lewis. So congratulations on his award as well.
Yeah, shout out to Frank Lewis as well. He definitely puts in a lot of work out here.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I give a shout out to y'all. Don't give up. Don't give up, because that's what people want you to do.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
they
right.
want to steal your dreams. Go for it. Don't give up.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
and
much.
If there's anything I can do, please feel free to give me a call.
Thank you so much.
Love to help.
All right. Take care.
All right.
All right. Absolutely. AJ and Natasha, the media right now, and this is funny, Roxanne and Super Tim mentioned that, is they are eating this up like tofu on Sunday night. And I mean, really. Yeah. I mean, I would have liked to get this much media coverage if it was a very nice turnout.
Right.
You know, so my question is, do you think it would have got this much media turnout if it was great? And why is the media feeding on so much negativity now?
Well, because people put it on the internet. You know what I mean? Once something goes viral, you can never take it back. Immediately after the awards, people posted videos on the internet from their cell phones. You know, some of the media that were there posted videos. So that's number one, why they did it, you know, because they had the footage and it was compelling. And it makes good news. You know what I mean? I mean, bad for us, but good for them. But to answer your question, no, they wouldn't have covered it as much as they had. We made almost every hip hop website, all the local news. You know, before we did do great PR beforehand, and you know, even the day before the awards, there was a story on the Fox Morning News in D.C. Some magazines had asked me if we could send in photos afterwards, and so we did do some great PR leading up to the awards to make some people, you know, have, you know, basically we were on their radar. But then, you know, those same news organizations who had covered it before, they came back and circled around and called me on Sunday and was like, you know, can I get an interview? The Washington Post, the Examiner, the City Paper, all those had covered it beforehand. But, you know, unfortunately, there was a huge fight, you know, and that's basically the aftermath. That's what happened.
AJ?
What's sad about the whole situation is you got to understand that any event has to deal with progress. So being that this was the 5th year, a lot of more people were talking about it, and especially this is the age of hip-hop where people are doing for themselves with the camera crews, with the digital work, so on and so forth. You had the red carpet there, so people was actually, this would have been the buzz for it to be like, okay, we got to find out and see what's going on. Just imagine what would happen if there was no flaws, everything would have been successful for the following year. You know what I'm saying? It could have been taken to the next level, but now it's almost like you have to deal with a blemish, a black eye, if you will. And there's not a lot of venues in the DMV for artists to be heard, to be represented, to be shown in a positive light. And of all places.
Of all places.
You know what I'm saying? In a sense, this would be like the Maryland Grammys for real.
Yeah.
You know,
in
a sense within itself. So with that being said, if you can't act right at the Grammys, how can you expect the record labels to take you as an artist serious? Because if you can't act right in Maryland, why am I going to take you to LA?
Right.
Why am I going to take you to this market to go to radio?
Right.
These are all basic concepts of PR marketing that you should know before you come into any type of event.
Right.
Period.
Do you think a lot of the artists, hip hop artists, reasons as to why they're not being, I guess, signed quicker than, let's say, an artist from LA, New York, Atlanta, Miami, is because of this right here? I
wouldn't necessarily say it's because of this, but based on the people that I've dealt with, people just feel like, okay, if I rap, if I put my record on a track, automatically it's got to go to radio. Right. Or automatically it's got to go to some type of talk form where I can be heard. It's more to it than that. You know, just like so Natasha, you just can't all of a sudden come with the idea, I want to have a DMV Awards, and then expect everybody to show up. Right. It takes time, it takes progress, and it also takes the main key ingredient, word of mouth. And if the word of mouth is negative, why should I pay attention to you?
Exactly.